because it's different than everybody else.
Okay.
Okay, we are live on everything, and we are going live on Instagram. Good afternoon, a happy Tuesday to my friends online and my family online. I am Amanda Marino, and this is Levels Without Limits. We are live now on Instagram as well. When I am not traveling, I love to interview different guests from all around the world, with the topic Levels Without Limits. And I'm the owner of Next Level Wellness and Behavioral Health and AmandaMarinoSpeaks.com. Have all kinds of new things going on to the point where I got super sick and lost my voice. You can hear it's coming back, but very slowly. Today, I'm so excited to have Jo Rose on. Jo, could you just take a moment to introduce yourself to the people watching? It posts live, and then it will also, be shown later. So love for you to introduce yourself, and then I'll share all the lovely things I think about you.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, no, I'm so happy to be chatting with you, Amanda. So I'm Jo Rose. I'm the founder of A Zen Mind, one of the largest meditation networks on Spotify. I've been creating meditations for, over 3 years now, and it is turning into something bigger than I could have ever imagined. I think the longer I do it, the more I realize the need for it. And so I have kind of expanded out into holistic wellness, into nutrition, into nervous system regulation, just topics that are very important right now. And yeah, I'm super happy to be chatting with you today because I feel like our story is amazing, how we met is amazing, and what we're collabing on in the future is amazing too.
Yeah, you're a beautiful soul, and I'm just, I share this often. Like a couple of years ago, I made a claim out loud to God, to like some of my support system. If somebody isn't like on a certain frequency or vibe and isn't gonna be in my life and be happy for me, rooting for me, how isn't gonna add value and I can add value, like I don't have it. And so like you are an epitome of that for me. You are one of the amazing people that God has brought into my life in the past few years. So Jo Rose and I met in the Philippines in September. I wasn't there long enough to say much about it because my son and I then went to Thailand, but we met in the Philippines. We were on the same TEDx stage. Her bright, vibrant smile drew me to her. While I was in and out going to the bathroom and like managing my son being there and some work calls and stuff. I made sure I was fully present for your talk, and you absolutely rocked it. So if you haven't seen it, I will post both of our talks actually in the comments after this. So that's how we met. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about, we'll go into the stuff we're doing, but I want to go more into, my degrees in like we have so much alignment. My degrees in alternative medicine, I'm a certified yoga teacher, taught meditation for years. And I love what you've been able to do with it and how you've been able to grow and how it was authentically, like a passion. And, as I was even getting ready, running late, I self-regulated. I told myself, okay, Amanda, slow down. Yep. What is the point of rushing? It's okay. Just calm down, because then I get myself into a spin. So like, how did it come about in your life? I'd love to hear, even though I know some of it.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I went to school for business, and I did my undergrad in business, and then I did my graduate degree in business as well with my MBA. And it's funny because I went right into corporate. I was working in New York City. I was working at this big legal institution, and I was just in the midst of a very busy life, like a very demanding life. And I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't have the knowledge and the awareness around it, but I was living a completely dysregulated life. I wasn't in the healthiest relationship. I was working so much. I didn't have things that were filling my cup. So I ended up being like, okay, like I need something to regulate myself. I need something to come back to myself. And it's funny because I actually started creating meditations back in 2020. It was like the height of the pandemic. I was still in university, and I was just creating them because I remember saying, like, if something that I create and goes out into the world and it helps one person, then that's my job. Then my job is done.
That's my same thing that I say all the time. Like we both say that.
Yes. And that's
my goal every day is if I can
one person,
even if it's just saying like hello, just hit my heart. Even just saying hello and asking like the people that work at the pharmacy counter how they I see how mean people are to them. So
Mhm.
even if it's those little things, like
Yep.
that's what I wanted. I love that you said that. Just made me
Yep.
get goosebumps all over.
It was literally like that was it, because I've always been a giver. I've always been a helper. I've always wanted to leave a positive impact on the lives of pretty much everybody that I come into contact with. And to your point, like that could be the person at the pharmacy, that could be the person at the grocery store. Like I think that every single person and every single conversation, it's an opportunity for you to be positive, for you to leave a lasting impact. And so I wanted to create something that I could put out into the world that would do that. And so in 2020, I created my first handful of meditations. I put them out there. Honestly, I completely forgot about them. I was like, it was just a passion project. I wanted to do
Yeah.
it. I let it sit.
Self, right? A lot of our things that we end up teaching and helping others are things that we have gone through ourselves and experienced things ourselves, right? Like, and going back to those basics and reminding ourselves, like watching my own TED Talk saying, I need to listen to that version of me right now.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And it's funny because what ended up happening was at my corporate job when I was in New York City, there was a girl that I worked with and she was an absolute doll. And she came in one day and she was like, I am so anxious. I'm so stressed. And I told her, I was like, I think I have meditations online somewhere. I was like, I don't even know if they're still there, but I think that I have them. And she was like, okay, like I'm going to check them out. And she listened. And then like the next day she came back and she's like, Joe, like, this is amazing. Like, why are you not doing more of this? And again, I was at a place where I really needed it. And I think that she was kind of like a blessing at that inflection point where I was like, oh, maybe I should put more into this again. And so
she was a divine intervention to reignite the flame.
exactly. And when I checked, I looked back and I was like, oh, wow, like I had 40,000 listeners from like 5 meditations. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool
Incredible.
for not doing anything. I was like, it showed that there was a need for it. And then in May 2023, when I came back to the show and I said, okay, I'm going to be uploading weekly. I'm going to be doing this as a part of my practice and also to give back more intentionally. Within the first 9 months, we went from 40,000 to over 1 million. And now we're just coming up on 20 million streams all time. So it's grown astronomically. And it's so funny when people say to me like, oh, congratulations. And it's like, it's not me, it's you guys, it's the audience, it's the world. And I think it's the conversations around mental health, the need. Yes. Mental health, mental well-being, nervous system regulation. It's becoming more normalized. And I think that's why more people are making active choices to incorporate it into their life. And so
absolutely. And that's one of the blessings I share with people. Like I'm making sure my phone doesn't ring while we're on here, and then it takes off the screen. Like I opened pre-pandemic, right? And that's when like a lot of people were losing their jobs, and mental health was like at an all-time crisis. And like the one thing that came that was a little bit of a blessing with the shame and the stigma surrounding mental health. It isn't health and mental health. They're one.
They're one.
It's all one. And I think that more people feel safe, reaching out for help. Like it definitely did change in a positive way in the big picture for that. But then it also did leave a big negative impact on people with their nervous system regulation, with their so many agoraphobic clients we've had. I can't even tell you, older women that kind of just took their sail from their, out from underneath them. I'm actually personally in a therapy group right now that I've committed to for 6 weeks on nervous system regulation for myself, because like I know how I've been just so go. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we're meant to be like that, right? Like there is a season as business owners and builders where we do have to grind and hustle. And then there is a time like we have to have balance. Like we have to have that. We have to have self-care. And meditation is accessible to anyone, and you can do it anywhere at any time. You could even like, I've done it in my car. I've snuck into a bathroom, So yeah, I'm so grateful that the world needed your meditations, and that's how it exploded, and your bright presence and your pure, genuine self,
Thank you. Yeah, no, I think that, again, you said something that is so real, and it's health and mental health are one and the same, and everything is connected. The mind-body connection is very, very real. And I think there has been a stigma where they've been separated in the past. And now the conversations around nervous system regulation, around wellness as a whole, around holistic wellness, you don't need a supplement. You don't need, a medication for this, for that. Like we live in a world that's always trying to solve the problems for you, but often we can solve the problems or at least alleviate the symptoms with our own body, with our own self. And if not to fix, but also just to support our lifestyle. You know, there's people who choose these intentional habits, and over time, that is what truly creates a balanced mind, a balanced body, a balanced life. And that can only be, that can only be to the benefit of your own self. And then to your point, meditation, for me, meditation is something that every single person can do. And even at the very least, like just coming back to your breath. Like I had an experience the other day. I've recently gotten into rock climbing, and it's like my new hobby, and I love it so much. And I was at the gym, and one of my climbing friends, she started to have an anxiety attack. Something happened and
Mm.
she started to have an anxiety attack. And so we ended up going into the bathroom, and she was like shaking. I could see her shaking, she was super upset. And so I was like, okay, let's just sit down. Let's just sit down. Just feel your feet on the ground. Just feel yourself on the seat. And let's just take a couple deep breaths. And it was so simple, but it brought her out of it like that. And I think that a lot of people need those tools and need to know that you can come back to yourself. And it's also safe to come back to yourself and to regulate yourself and not be seeking, I have to wait or I have to do it in this perfect ideal situation. No, like that's not when this stuff happens in ideal circumstances. It happens when you're actually in the middle of it and you need to actively regulate and help yourself. And it's showing up for yourself in those micro ways that deepens your trust with yourself and then allows you to continue, fostering your own relationship with your well-being.
Absolutely. And that's what people think is like, oh, I have to do this whole 180 overnight, or
Yeah.
like our profession, like families or loved ones will expect this like complete transformation overnight. And a lot of these things take time. Like if you have trauma, if you have, been through certain things, if you've been in narcissistic relationships or whatever you've got, we've all gone through things. Like we are all going through things. We're all healing from things. And like for me, living in the trauma response mode, I can go and I can go and I can go to the point where I'm not even feeling, I'm not present, whatever. It's the slowdown is when I would have my anxiety, when I would stop and sit with it. Like on my kind of like sit with it was kind of like the theme of my TED talk.
Yeah.
Like sitting with it has been one of the hardest lessons for me, because I was taught, in my early healing years, like, okay, if this is the problem, then you do this. Like my first sponsor, when I was in, really heavily involved in a 12-step program, I call her with any program. With any problem, my life was a disaster. Her answer was always to meditate. I'm like, does this lady know I can't quiet my mind for whatever? But it was truly one of the greatest gifts she gave me. So thank you to Heidi out there if you're listening. But that was always her answer. And so finally I just started so I've incorporated it in my life since I was 26 and I'm 44, on and off. And it's always there and closer than we think. So like, say if you're watching and you've once really been like that person that does it regularly, like you make it a point to do it, once or twice a day, and you have your practice, and then you're away from it and you feel like, oh my God, I'm so far from that. You're really just like one meditation away from being right back connected.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And it's filling it in those micro ways. And that's the thing, is that I talked about this on another interview I did on another show a couple weeks ago. And like meditation, that when you think about meditation, we always sort of visualize, again, ideal circumstances. And we think that we have to be in a certain position and stillness and it's quiet around us. And that's just not the reality. You can literally meditate anything that you're doing with absolute presence and awareness, because that's what it is, right? It's about presence, it's about awareness, it's about observation, and it's about letting things be exactly as they are.
So in your body, like really,
yes.
running is my moving, like running, because I get to a point where it's hard, and I get to a point where I check out and I can't think.
Yeah.
So I've had divine, almost a lot of my, so I get running again. A lot of my clarity comes because I get past that hard point, and then it just is like divine hits from God, divine. So it can be moving meditation. It can be sitting. For me, whenever it says to sit, I don't like to sit to meditate. I prefer to lay.
Yep.
I like to lay and be comfortable. Sitting is not a comfortable position for my body.
I'm actually the exact same way. And I think that for me, again, climbing also has been so meditative. And also when I'm boating, I'm really big into boating. I'm a captain as well. And so I love just being so present in what you're doing and just being so connected to your senses and being so in the moment where it's like nothing can pull you away from that. And you're just experiencing everything as it is. Our mind is the absolute master of pulling us out of the present moment. It always wants to create stories around what's happening. It wants to attach meaning to it. It wants to analyze. It wants to contemplate. Our mind wants to take us to the future. It wants to ruminate on the past. But what happens?
Guilt and shame and future trip about what's not even happening yet, right?
Exactly. But
come back. The greatest gift right now. That's the greatest gift.
Yep. And it's like what happens when we come back to the now is that's where life and where the goodness really is happening, even if it's just with your own breath, even if it's with the sun on your skin, even if it's with just your own heart beating or your own hands on your skin, like there's so much goodness in those moments. And I think when we engage all of our senses, when we slow down enough to be present with it, we can find that meaning and that depth, even in basic everyday, you're driving, you're walking, you're at the grocery store. I think that when we slow down enough.
Snuggling animals for me is very meditative, snuggling my puppies.
Yes, that too, right? And it's just, it makes you feel good. There's so many ways that you can meditate. I think that this is really the point of my work, is to, expand meditation outside of, you have to be a yogi, you have to be a guru, you have to be super Zen, it's not realistic. And again, coming from a business background, very high performing, also myself as an entrepreneur building a business, This is not reserved for ideal circumstances. This is when you're in the thick of it, being able to navigate it intentionally and come back to yourself time and time again.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not a failure to lose yourself. It's part of the deal.
Right.
I do want to highlight that, you are a 28-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. And when I first found that out, I was blown away because I was just pulling my head out of my ass at 26 and realizing, oh shit, I'm a mom and I need to get my life together. Mm-hmm. But the fact that, you just have so much to offer the world, and you're still, you're open to learning. You don't think by any means have the ego, you think you know it all, but I learned a lot from you. I know you say you share the same, feelings towards me. And so I've been designing this retreat, or I've been working on planning this retreat in Costa Rica, the You Do You retreat. And I was supposed to happen in February of this year. Well, I did not anticipate booking a TED Talk in Philippines and then going to Thailand for 2 weeks and then going to South Africa and Kenya and Dubai, and none of that stuff was planned. Mm-hmm. And in those moments of being silent and sitting with myself, I had to realize, okay, I'm going to reach out to the property owner and see what my options are. Mm-hmm. He said to me, what about bringing in some co-hosts, and literally there was no other, you and Mandy were it. Mm-hmm. No other people came to my mind. Yeah. And you and me met on the TEDx stage. We connected, we vibed. We definitely had that immediate, we knew each other for a long time thing. Mm-hmm. And I had that same thing with Mandy. And then you and I stayed in touch kind of on a minimal level. Mm-hmm. But once I brought this up to you, it felt right for you. It felt right for Mandy. And I can't even express how grateful I am that you're in this with me. It's been so fun. And, you're so great at what you're great at, which are so many of the things that I'm not. And it's just been a joy. And I just can't wait I enjoy it every week. It brings me joy. It excites me. It makes me happy. It fills my cup.
Yeah, I think that, again, everything is divine timing. And I think a lot of times as visionaries, as creators, we want to do so much. And sometimes it's just not the right time. And so I think that, when you initially came to me with the retreat, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that I wanted to do. But I had opportunities in the past and I didn't feel like it was the right time for me. I didn't feel like I was in the right place to be able to host or co-host a retreat. And so It's funny because, we met in the Philippines. Things were moving so quickly when we were both there. I still remember though, because I was one of the last people to speak, like, and it was a long day. It turned out to be a really long day.
Yeah.
And I was one of the last people to speak, and people had like come and gone and whatever, and you were one of the people that was still there, and I saw you, like, you were just like nodding along, you were so engaged, and we spoke about similar topics too, about
Yeah.
self-belief and like
Yeah.
coming back to yourself and truly believing in yourself. And then we connected afterwards. I had gone back to New York, and I was like head down building the business. I had so many logistics to do within those, like, it was like 2 to 3 months. And I was like pretty much going into survival mode myself, because I was grinding, I was hustling, I was doing so many things on the back end, the logistics of building a business, of the legalities, the finances behind it, just everything. And it felt like
So much.
it's crazy, and everything took off. And then I remember, like, when you came to me and we reconnected, and we're like, hey, like, we're kind of in the same space. Like, we should be like, let's connect on this. And then it came up, not only, the retreat opportunity, but also just a really beautiful friendship where, as you mentioned, like, we have so much to learn from each other, so much to give and take. And I think that's what makes any relationship really powerful, is when it's a mutual give and take, and you can receive just as much as you can pour into the other person. I think it's just so beautiful, and I'm so excited for all the stuff that we still have yet to do. And
I know we want to plan it. We want to plan a trip for Joe to come to Florida, just to go like get a room or an Airbnb and just like sit and create and see what comes up. That's like, now we've already become like I call you to process certain things business wise. You do the same thing with me. And we hold space like that for one another with a lot of respect, a lot of, we share our personal experience and our thoughts with a lot of love and intention and purpose. And that is so meaningful to me. You know what I mean? And I believe that there's a lot of good, after as many times as I've been burned and as many times I've been brokenhearted from female friendships, I still stand as a girl's girl and a woman's woman. And just because other people haven't shown up like that, I made a conscious decision to not allow that to change me. I will just love harder, and I will be more selective with who comes into this orbit, right? My therapist taught me, make people earn it, Amanda. Stop giving all of it away to everyone.
Yep. Yeah. And having a small circle, I think it's something I just posted on my Instagram the other day. I've always been, I have a very open heart, and I want to see the good in everybody. That's just how I am. However, you have to be mindful of your energy and what you're putting out there, because there are people that are there to take or are there to serve their best interest. And so when you find somebody that you resonate with, and it's like a full body yes, and you just feel it, it can be a little bit disorienting at first, especially when you have been burned before, whether it's in business or in personal. Women like us, I feel like we have our radar is a little bit sharper, but our guard is up a little bit higher, because you have to be so mindful. And so when we connected, and when we kind of like realized, hey, like, this is another beautiful soul, a beautiful soul recognizing a beautiful soul, you feel this sense of safety. And then, to your point, like, being able to just call each other and say, hey, I'm going through this right now. Something is going on. Like, just having a friend to call and listen and accept and not judge you and not try to fix it, but just to hold space for you. That's invaluable. It's such a beautiful thing.
It is. And to and to live in such different, like, you're kind of all over the map. I'm kind of all over the map, but to still feel as connected. Like, that's another beautiful thing happening in code. If you would have told me before the pandemic that, one, I would do therapy online, because I am a lifetime therapy goer, I would have told you no way.
Yep.
If you would have told me I would build real, true friendships from far away, I would have told you no way. But like, I really have. And God really brings the right people to me. I'm blown away, divine creator, whatever you believe in. I'm very open-minded spiritually, but I really, once I like claimed it, it's just, that's all that's come into my life. And if someone isn't that, they don't stay very long. They kind of come out, and I don't get it, and I don't get attached. Like, I would feel brokenhearted and devastated. I mean, as sharp and on it as I am with some things, the heart is a different version of me, right? My heart does believe that everyone has pure good intentions and wakes up every day and wants to be a good person. That's so far from the truth. And so I've learned a lot of lessons the hard way. And I'm so grateful for you at 28 that you don't have to go through that into your 40s. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so happy for you, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
I was hurt more by female friendships and than males ever. So I made conscious decisions. People that are going to love me and support me and want to see me shine and grow. And I do the same for them, because your shine, you kicking butt in the world and being an incredible entrepreneur does not take anything away from me. And there's a lot of people that are stuck in that mindset. They compare and contrast. And I don't speak that language.
Yeah.
So I know it happens, but I can't even internalize it because I don't get it.
Yep. No, it comes back to a lack mindset where you think there's not enough. And I've seen this with a lot of people that do compare themselves, or when somebody begins to succeed, they take it as a hit to themselves. And it's a lack mindset, because when you think about it, there's so much abundance in the world, and abundance is available to every single one of us. And so when you see someone succeeding, if you can't open your heart and give into that, then it's because of a fear that there's not enough for you. And so my motto is like, when my friends are winning, or when my colleagues are winning, or when anybody in the space is winning, I'm winning also. Like, we're all winning. And I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you accomplish incredible things, because that is also what makes me inspired, what makes me feel like, oh my gosh, there's so much out there. We can all be growing and expanding. There's no need for comparison. There's no need for competition.
No, I don't see that. And so it took me a long time to understand that it does exist.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't have to feel it and like internally understand it. I have to logically understand it and go from there. And literally, like, if I see a beautiful, smart, successful woman, I lean into her. I want to know her. I don't see that and feel less than. And there was a time in my life when I did feel that. So I can understand that in the insecurity phase. So if you do feel, if anyone is watching and they do feel that, I want to encourage you to like lean into yourself and see what it is about you, because it was always a me thing. Because now, like, anytime I've reached out, I mean, I've become friends with so many people from online. I've had opportunities with, really beautiful people that really don't even have the kind of time to even engage with me, that have, brought me into their lives and have lifted me up. And I try to do the same. So I try to stay in a space where like I can get elevated and I can elevate, and it's just, I'm so grateful that like I didn't allow heartbreak to close my heart from love. And I didn't allow, being hurt from females change me and how I show up to the world. Like, I don't hit below the jugular. I don't go mean girl. I don't play that shit. So.
Yeah, no. And I think that, again, when you tap into that abundance mindset and just there's enough for everyone, and seeing other people win and other people succeed, and learning from your lessons, not holding on to them, not letting them define you. Because when you do that, right, you're essentially giving your power away to other people when you let your past control your future. And so it's a journey, right? Like, it's a journey of being able to let go and trust and be able to shift your focus into the future and say, okay, like you did, Amanda, saying like, okay, I'm not going to claiming it. Like, I don't want these types of people to be coming into my life if they're not going to be supportive and loving and open and kind and safe people. And once you make that conscious decision, every single thing will start to align to follow that, because that's just how our brains work. Like, we're going to attract the right people. We're going to attract the right circumstances. And when the energy isn't right, you're going to be able to pick up on it. You're going to be able to notice it sooner, as opposed to getting, swept away by it.
Yeah. Getting too deep.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And then I also, same thing, similar with like the behavioral health industry. Like, while I'm still, have a lot of great relationships, like I was doing these like massive standard kind of conferences for like over a decade. And then I woke up one day and realized, wait, I'm with people all that know all the things. And there's a whole world out there that doesn't know that like there's help for this kind of thing that somebody else has been. So like my shift a couple of years ago came to, I want to be the only one in the room that does what I do. I don't want to be with all people that do what I do. I want to help people. Like, I want to actually be able to, maybe somebody's never heard somebody say that they've been abused before. Like, I've been sexually abused. If you've been sexually abused and you've never told anyone, I hope that maybe you hear this and that you go tell somebody. That's like and I said it out loud. I'm going to, because I also had a tragedy at the last event that I was involved in, which is currently going on right now. And I love them and wish them all the luck and all the blessings in the world for this event. but for me, it no longer felt right for me. And so I talked to my partner in that, and I gracefully left, and still have been sharing their posts and cheering them on and encouraging people to go. It just no longer aligned for me. When I said that out loud, I got the email the next day that I booked the TEDx.
Wow. Yep. See?
You know, those are signs that I'm going in the right direction for me. For other people, if staying in that realm is working for them, I'm not judging that or saying this is just where I'm called.
Yep. And I think that it goes across so many different disciplines as well. Like we speak about it in, business and in our life and how it affects us right now. But, when you think about it, even just relationships, right? A lot of people have, issues with their relationships and friendships and partnerships and whatever it is. But the second that you actively decide, like this is when everything will start to align to follow that, because you have the ability to create, you create your own reality. That is so true. Like, okay.
Really
yeah. And it's,
if you question it, if you question it, anyone watching, lean into that. Lean into your manifestation. Yeah, of course you have to show up and do the work, but if you believe and take action, you can do anything. This stuff that Joe and I do, this is not exclusive to us. We are not like, yes, we are special because we are children of God, but we are not that special. That like the difference with us is we have the audacity and the balls to go for it and face, the fear and rejection and do it anyways.
Yep. And just showing up and
water just because my coffee is dehydrating me. 1 second. Right here. It's not helping my
yeah. I feel like you need some water over coffee with the throat dynamic.
I brought the wrong cup over.
But no, it's so true. And it's like, it comes back to believing in yourself, having the audacity, just trusting also. I mean, trust is a scary thing too, because a lot of people, we feel the need to have control over everything. And I often say that control is just fear in disguise. And so when you're in business, when you're in entrepreneurship, when you're building anything, when you're a visionary, when you have an open heart, you want to find that person, you want to be in that relationship, you want to score that job, whatever it is, like we often overcompensate by controlling. And that control is just fear that, okay, if I'm not controlling this, then what's going to happen? It's all going to fall apart. You have to have an unwavering sense of self-belief, of audacity, a little bit of delusion. If you believe that you deserve it, and if you believe that you can call it into your life, then there's nothing that's going to get in the way of that. You're going to create that. And I think that's what you and I have seen, from business to friendships to everything in between. It's like, you're going to create it one way or another. It's going to happen to you. And as soon as you claim it, as soon as you make the conscious decision, I'm not going to be in these types of relationships anymore. I'm not going to entertain these types of dynamics. As soon as you make that decision, then everything starts to, and it's not easy either. Like it is not easy.
No, this is not for the faint of heart. I've tried, like people think like, like that's why I try to be honest too. Like I'll put like I was talking about the other day, like I want to put pictures of me looking rugged, talking in the video, like without makeup, talk about the hard things. Like it is not all, oh, I get to travel the world, and it's hard to travel the world. It's hard. I mean, okay, it's a blessing, but like, having a family and a partner and children and a business and the stress that my body undergoes, like it's not always this luxury. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes, like in my home and my personal and my brain, that if people knew how much I really had to get here, probably would say, hell no. But talk about, I want to hear you talk. I've talked about the retreat a lot online. I want you to share kind of like, because you've been involved now for months, you and Mandy, we're all hosts. Like I even had them change it on my website where it said host, co-host. And I was like, no, we're all hosts.
Love it. Yeah.
We're really doing this thing all together. I just want to hear you kind of share a little bit about it from your perspective.
No, I think this is, if you asked me, 3 years ago, if you could have a perfect retreat and a perfect idea of what you would want to create and facilitate and bring into the world, it would be You Do You, because I think that this is going to speak to so many people. A lot of times with retreats, you see very heavily structured, and it fits a certain person, and you kind of feel like, well, maybe I'm a little bit too old for this, or I'm a little bit too, I've got a big group and it's not going to work, or maybe I can't get the time off from work, or whatever it might be. But I think with the You Do You, we are really opening this up to every single person, every single, like all these different walks of life, all your different backgrounds, everything. Like we want every single person who feels called into wellness and resetting and just giving yourself the space to step away. We want you there. And I think that's what makes it really special, is that it's not, it's not so focused or pigeonholed on one certain thing. It's just everybody could benefit from unplugging. Everybody could benefit from connecting with others, from learning from others, from taking time for themselves to do what they want to do. And, of course, we're facilitating a really beautiful journey. We have, sound healing, we have, adventures, we have workshops, we have so many things that we're going to be incorporating to make it a supportive environment, because we want people to walk away and feel like, wow, like I have a new perspective. I feel better. I feel like I can integrate into my life now all the things that I learned and gathered here, as opposed to making it like an escape and then, you come back. It's more of like, okay, let's come here. Let's all unplug. Let's all connect. Let's all be human. Do what you feel is right and what you feel you need. Enjoy the experience. And my hope is that, people can take so much away from this experience, and hopefully even us, we can make it, a recurring retreat, just a time for everybody to unplug and come together and learn from one another and learn from themselves.
Yeah, it's like, and I love like also like I love like what you bring to the table, and I love that we have Mandy, who's a very experienced trauma therapist. Like I know we have like mutual trauma therapist friends. I see her at the events with them, and like that was even another connection for me and her. So I love that we have like this just dynamic of us. But like I know I've gone to many retreats of all kinds, and I prefer to live a life of flexible structure. I call it.
Yep.
I don't like to, because when I would grind myself like that, my expectations of myself were so high, like to get up at 5 a.m. and go for a 5K run and do this, and then go to the gym later and this like meditate this time. Like I had such rigid scheduling. So when I was going to some of these retreats, like I got the side eye if I overslept for like the morning thing, and I'm like, that doesn't feel good. And then I come home and I would need a like vacation from my retreat, and that's not what. So then I started going to Costa Rica alone. I followed my former business partner, did exactly what he did. Went to this place where you could kind of curate, you pick, it's like a la carte menu. Like, do you want to do this, this, this? And that's kind of what the concept was. It was like, I want people to come. We will have offerings. We will have a very intentional, mindful programming curated by, especially by you and Mandy, and a little bit of my input, but that's your areas of excellence. And we're going to have fun. And, everyone says, oh, I'll do this tomorrow, or I'll do it next year. Say yes and just book it. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell yourself, like, because I just booked it, and it was like, I did have to reschedule it one time, but I wanted to share this sacred land with people.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times when I was down there just a couple weeks ago that we were saying, you do you. It was like it just fits into so many things. Like we were talking about, oh, I'm going to do, okay, great. You do you. Yeah. So kind of like the next level has always been a thing, like, oh, taking it to the next level. Like it's actually a really good concept of you doing you, and I'm just so thankful that you've leaned into it and really helped, put some pieces together that I was not, that weren't my area of excellence.
Yeah. And I think, a retreat, to be able to bring it to so many people and to make it successful and to make it, flow and just enjoyable for everybody. It's a big task. Like there's a lot that goes behind creating a retreat. And I think that when we get to come together, we have all, different backgrounds, different areas of expertise, and we come in and we curate it together intentionally. We lean into our strengths, we learn from each other. And then we take that vision forward. And I think that's what's so beautiful about this, is that it's, and we talked about this yesterday in our call, like we're not here to overcomplicate it. This is supposed to be an enjoyable
experience.
Yes. Like I don't want people to come home and be like, oh my gosh, like I have to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day now, or, oh, I'm behind, or what. No, we want you to like go enjoy yourself. You do whatever it is that you feel called to do. Enjoy the experiences, engage in the workshops. If you feel called to, go for a walk on the beach, go into town, unplug, reset, do what feels good.
Book a session with one of us. Like there's going to be all the different really whatever you're looking for. Come with like your partner, come with your best friend, maybe gather a group of friends. I met a bunch of women at me and my friend Marianne were at a resort. We were meeting for talk about our mastermind, and there was these women from I forgot what state, like Idaho or something. But like I was thinking how cool it'd be for like a group of friends that all live in all different places in the country or the world, and saying, hey, let's go do this together. Like we welcome that too. And we, you know, like we want you to either come alone, come with people. Like there will be something for everybody, you know, and you will all feel welcome and safe and very well taken care of, fed with, you know, organic, you know, local food from my friend, Marcia Stone, from her restaurant down there, that she purchased after COVID. So there's like a lot of heart intentional things. My friend Gabriel, who owns the property, who you've gotten to be able to meet, he, you know, his family's owned this property for 41 years. I looked at a lot of different options, but this one felt good. You have to drive onto the beach to get there. Okay. Yep. If a tide is at a certain time, you can't drive. It's not very often. I've only seen it once, but there's like tide pools in the back. I mean, it's just a stunning. You know, you can't even build property like that now on the beach there because it's protected. Mm-hmm. So it's super sacred and special. And it's just like I felt like 2 years of going solo and creating this experience, and then I kept going. And while I was creating this solo, so to be able to share this with people is like super like feels so good in my heart.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for it. I think that we're going to bring together so many unique people and unique backgrounds, and, you know, their why is going to be different, but I'm just so excited because I believe that so many people are going to benefit in their own way, and it's going to look different for every single person. I think that's what makes it special and beautiful, is that your why is going to be different than the next person's, but at the end of the day, we're all sharing a beautiful environment, a very intentional environment, you know, something that has been curated by all of us, something that has meaning, something that, you know, is true to all of us. And I think that it's obvious from my work, from your work, from Mandy's work, you know, we do everything with a full heart. We do everything with full intention. And so it's going to be just that, you know, times 10. So it's going to be incredible. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
I'll say hello to Lynn. Lynn said, hello, Amanda. I got to go to the beach to unplug. It's so healthy. Yes, I'm born and raised in South Florida. So, I mean, a lot of Floridians actually don't go to the beach, which I love and appreciate where I live, like so much. But I also like, you know, going to Costa Rica, before I knew the sunsets were like a big thing for people, I wouldn't make sure I wouldn't miss one. But like, even just this last trip, the guy that I rented my side-by-side from, he's like, listen, I'll be here till 5. And then I won't be available from when the sun starts to set until it's down. Yep. Like literally, like it's a
cultural, yeah.
It's a crime to miss a sunset in Costa Rica because it's a 2-hour art show from God in the sky. When the sun is starting to go down, and then it goes down, and then it goes all the way down, and then the sky turns different colors. It is so we're really also going to be doing like a really different, cool, intentional theme for the sunset to really celebrate that sunset.
Yeah.
One of the most magical things of Costa Rica to me. I mean, I have last night I took my therapy group on Zoom with me outside by my pool because I have a beautiful sunset in my backyard. So I had me, my dogs, my partner's out of town. I had no kids here, and which is very rare. And it was really just what I needed. And I was sitting on the patio, and the dogs were playing, and the beautiful sunset and my lights and my pretty color in my pool. I was just like, so thankful, you know, and we get to go do that and share that. And when you share that, you expand.
Yep, exactly. No, and I think that then we start to see all the really beautiful things that are just present in our everyday life, and things that we start to pay more attention to, and we really start to appreciate them a little bit more, you know, and I think that's the mission that we want to spread, you know, to everybody that we talk to. You know, it's that there's so many things to be grateful for, so many things that are right in front of us that are just absolutely beautiful parts of our life, and we can really just slow down enough to appreciate them. And I think that just makes life so much more full and so much more colorful, so much more intentional and purposeful, you know?
I found myself like so quick to like invest in like something that was for business or some kind of coaching or something to grind, but like to take time to just like invest in personal self-care, like in this way. So many people, and I get it because I did it too, push it off. but it makes me 100% better of a woman, my peace, my serenity, a better mother, a better partner, but just better everything, you know, by doing these things where I take time for me. Like it's a requirement for me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm not traveling, I need a day a month to myself, solo, quiet. I just need it. And that's okay. I can be an amazing mom if I'm fully present when I have my children, because I don't have them full. I have them half and half. And so I like to be present when I have them. I say I'm going to pick them up from school with their bathing suits and the pickleball stuff, and we're going to go to because my pool's still so too cold, so we're going to go to the neighborhood pool and play pickleball and jump in the pool after school. I have the energy for that sake because I got to rest last night.
Yep. When you're good for yourself, you can be good for everybody else. And I think that's what we all just need to strive for, is just being good enough in ourselves, taking care of ourselves, pouring into our own cup. And then in doing that, we can show up better for our families, for our friends, for our business, for our projects. You can't pour from an empty cup. I know that's cliche, but it's so true. And then back to self-investment, a lot of people are hesitant to invest into themselves, whether it's, just getting your hair done or just getting a massage. Like I find body work a necessity for me. Like
necessity to me
I
too.
used to see it as like a luxury. And then I was like, no, this is like a necessity, especially with, you have to take care of yourself, because when you prioritize taking care of yourself, then it begins to reflect back to you. Like the world begins to prioritize taking care of you as well. Abundance prioritizes you as well. And so it's just giving to yourself. You're also able to give to others. And again, it comes into this give and receive cycle. And it's just the way that I can't imagine another way to live,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like once you know, you can't unknow.
Exactly.
And you get called back. We all drift off the path. But so how can people find you, Joe? Because I want to be able to stick to our time, even though I was mostly me, but we were both running a little behind.
Yeah.
But we're going to do more conversations, obviously surrounding the retreat. How can people, like, maybe you can go in after, or you can send me the link. Actually, I'll put the link and thing, but you let people know how to find you verbally. I'll put the links in the stuff.
Perfect. Yeah. A Zen Mind. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you just look up A Zen Mind guided meditations, you'll have the full catalog of all of our guided practices. And then Instagram at a.zen.mind, YouTube, A Zen Mind, pretty much the same across every single platform. If you look up A Zen Mind or Joe Rose, you'll find me. Again, we have a catalog of over 200 guided meditations, ranging from 5-minute practices to 30-minute practices and beyond. So you can engage with the work, you can engage with the content that I post on Instagram. And my goal is just to be able to, add impact and add value to everyone's life who does engage. And so, I'm everywhere under A Zen Mind and Joe Rose.
I can't tell you, I'm going to make it emotional, but from the bottom of my heart, how much you've added to my life. And the time that I've known you, and how much helps up level, myself. And I'm very, very, very grateful to Daniel and his wife, Kate and Daniel for, doing the Forbes Park TEDx, and then Erica Glenn for recommending me for it. Because I wouldn't have like this wonderful, beautiful soul who is Joe Rose in my life and in my world. And I can't wait to share you with people in the retreat and Mandy, and just like if people come there for me and they get to experience, you and Mandy, like it feels so good inside, and everything's so aligned. Like all the providers that we're using are intentional. I've met with people in person. Like it feels really good. And I'm really, really excited. It's not really a job thing for me. This is a fun passion connection to the world and helping.
Yeah. No, and it's so mutual. And I know I've said this with you before, but I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the mentorship that you've been able to, add to my life. And it's something that I never really thought I would, I didn't want to seek it out. I always believed that, like you said in the very beginning of this, like that comes to you. And I think that, again, always learning from each other, from our experiences, from our dynamics, and just leaning into that. And so I'm eternally grateful for you. I absolutely adore you. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. You're an absolute powerhouse of a woman. You're an inspiration to me. And I think we just have so much to continue learning from each other. And so I'm beyond excited to be on the retreat, to be, collabing with you on this and creating something amazing for everyone who's going to join us.
Okay, and get your little butt down to Florida. I figure that out.
I will for sure.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in today to Levels Without Limits. Jo Rose is a prime example of a woman who is living a life that has levels without limits, and is not scared to do the hard things and walk through the fear and walk through failures and walk through, we all have that. It's just those of us that choose to do it anyways with the fear. And I just can't wait to see where this world takes you. You're just such an incredible soul. All right. Much love. You can find me at AmandaMarinoSpeaks.com, Next Level Wellness, Behavioral Health, and Amanda Marino Official on TikTok and Instagram. And, if you have any questions about mental health, any questions about treatment, therapies, if you want any spiritual direction, I can, if it's not through myself or Jo Rose, we would happily connect you with anyone that we think would be a fit for you, for what you're looking for in the wellness space. If it's not me, I want to help any person homeless to, the most wealthy person in the world find the right fit for themselves to get the wellness and the healing that they're seeking in whatever manner. So thank you for joining us. Any last thoughts?
No, I just absolutely adore you, Amanda. I love the platform that you're creating. I love what we're able to do, and so grateful for everyone who tuned into this as well, and just really excited to see everyone at the You Do You retreat in August. So yeah, we'll be sharing more about it.
Not regret it. You will not regret this one. I promise.
It'll be amazing.
I promise. Okay. All right. Have a beautiful and blessed day, everyone.
Bye.
Stay on to the side.